Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Widgets and Wonders. This is my show about small companies creating ancillary products for the wargaming market. So things like terrain, tokens, either indie games. This is where you would see that kind of stuff that might be overlooked or might not be getting enough attention. So today, I'll be showing you two new mats from Frontline Gaming. Now, a lot like Litco, Frontline Gaming is almost on the very border of not being sort of a mom and pop shop anymore. They have a ton of super accessible mats. You've seen them in lots of my videos and in lots of other videos out there on the web, but they've just released two new ones. Which I picked up from Lords of War Games and Hobbies. They carry the fat mats. If you're interested in getting some and you're in Southern Ontario, you can go there and buy them. And those are Industrial Zone, which is a brand new sort of, it's not gothic-y, but it's very sort of like dirty and grimy and almost sort of cyberpunk-y kind of a table. And also the spaceship interior one. So it's literally like an interior sort of like space hulky kind of a board. So let's take a look at the mats. I'm gonna roll them out both and give you a look at them and you can see what you think. So here is the Industrial Zone map. Now, a lot like a lot of Infinity maps that you see, there are some roads and stuff on it, but the roads aren't making up the majority of the map. What's making up the majority of the map are some landing pads, some cool sort of catwalks, that all have some glowing, I don't know, piping hot magma or just something inside. Something toxic's coming out of this one. We have some sort of glowing silo lights, other sort of little landing pads or walkways, catwalks, and then just some sort of ruined, I don't know, hab sort of fortifications here. I just played a game of Infinity on it, and it looked just as good for either sort of like the outskirts of a nomad slum or some kind of like Neo-Terran red light district or whatever, as it would look good for 40K. So I'm kind of liking this one a lot because it bridges the gap between sort of the shiny sci-fi of a lot of the Infinity maps and the grimy sci-fi of things like the 40K mats. Now, the other thing I liked is the color palette. You've got lots of darks and lights here, so warm colors and cool colors contrasting. Blues, oranges, yellows, and then some greens as well. So it's very vibrant. It picks up really nice in the camera, and the high contrast looks really good too. So I'll definitely be using this one in rotation for a lot of my games. I'm thinking I might like to do some industrial style scenery to go with it. I think this would be a great Necromunda map for using a Necromunda terrain. And I suspect that when we do Necromunda, you will probably see this get played on a whole bunch, because I think it's pretty much perfect as an Underhive map. So if you're looking at playing Necromunda, this is not a task it would work really well for as well. 40K and even Infinity, I think you'll get a lot of mileage of this map. So good job, Frontline. Let's take a look at the new one, which is the spaceship interior. And here we have the spaceship interior. Now, the spaceship interior is a lot more gothic-y than the other one. You can see here these little sort of like stanchions and stuff. It has a very chaosy feel. And some of the biggest thing ever, in the universe clearly died here. Because I don't know how much blood's in a Space Marine, but that's a Space Marine. That's a lot of blood for one Space Marine. So some of the blood pools are pretty huge. And what's neat about this table is, if you wanted to do something like a Battlefleet, or not Battlefleet Gothic, a Space Hulk board, but you didn't want to have to make every single room, you could take this and put big chunks of negative space into it. So I've actually been talking about this with some friends, how I'm going to make this work as a spaceship table. And I think what I'll probably end up doing is making, because if you look at these, they're actually all universal sizes. We grabbed a gauge and I'll show you. They're all sized as 2x2 squares. So almost everything on this board breaks down into a 2x2 grid, which means it's very handy for making terrain specifically for this mat. I could make a 12x12 or a 6x6 chunk that's just black on top, so it's negative space, and then has like wall detail on the side. And as opposed to trying to make 1,000 million walls and 1,000 million corridors, I can just lay down chunks of negative space on top of this mat and have a very cool spaceship interior. Now, they have used a few designs, like more than once. This fan is actually used twice. This big gas pool is used twice. And I think the wreckage is used only once per wreckage thing, so that's actually pretty smart. There's only the big chunks of like rotor and these big wheels and stuff. These cogs are actually only used once. So the stuff that's very unique, they've only used a single time, which is good. The stuff that could be used, that's reused is fine. And for the most part, it's all corridors. So it's all stuff that could be walked on and could be a corridor, versus this one bit right here, which is clearly a landing bay, some kind of like loading zone, whatever. It's not so corridory. It's kind of wide and open, which would be neat for a scenario. You could have a big landing zone, and then you can put up some walls and stuff too. So you kind of have some options. You could make a ton of individual like skinny walls to go between all these panels. What I'm planning on doing is making lots of big chunks of dead space. So probably like 2-inch by 12-inch chunks that you could lay as a strip in here, and that would block off a room. Or a 12 by 12 like big chunk, and that lets you sink detail into it as well. Have all kinds of cool stuff on the sides, and generally make you know, one piece and then maybe cast it a whole bunch of times in expanding foam and have a whole table full of like spaceship scenery. So again, good job Frontline. These are really nice, pretty mats. I love the colors on this one too. There's a lot of like nice mix of hot and cold. I think it will be fairly functional after we figure out some terrain for it. But I think this mat in particular, you'd need to make some, to get the actual spaceship vibe, you will need to make some dedicated terrain for it. But it's a great start. It reminds me actually of the old board for Hero Quest, where you started laying doors and stuff on top of it. You could just play with it as is by agreeing to like, this is a room, you know what I mean? And placing a door here and having guys walk in a door. So like to go from color to color basically is an individual room. You could very easily just put doors on this and have it be a spaceship mat too. So there's our look at 2 new Frontline gaming mats. This is a spaceship, and then the other one is the industrial zone. So there you go, there's a look at 2 of the 3 new Frontline gaming mats. I didn't pick one of them up. The one I didn't pick up is the like alien world one, where there's like the creep from StarCraft kind of encroaching on a world. The reason for that is I don't film just 40K, and I didn't see it as being useful in as many games as the 2 that I did pick up. So I can certainly play a ton of different games, a ton of indie games and stuff too on either the Starship mat or the Industrial Zone mat. The alien one's a little more sort of like specific, and so for me investing, you know, my dollars into bringing stuff that you guys will see games on, I just picked these 2 to start. So if you don't want to check that one out, go to the Frontline Gaming, you know, like store and actually look at pictures of it. There is a 3rd one, it's brand new, it's available, and that is the Alien World one. I just didn't get it for the co-op because limited funds, we only have so much money, I bought these myself. So I thought they were cool enough, and I wanted to actually have them to bring and show you guys. So there it is, Frontline Gaming, 2 new fat mats. Thanks again to Lords of War Gaming for actually getting them to me like the day they got them. They gave them to my buddy Dave. My buddy Dave drove them down. We played an Infinity game on it that same day. So he was super kind to do that. And yeah, they are here now in the co-op. So I hope you enjoyed checking them out. If you guys do have a small or independent company that makes widgets and wonders for the wargaming world, or if you know an independent producer that could use some more attention, please email me at guerrillaminiaturegames@gmail.com. You can go to my Facebook page and message me as well through my Facebook. It's facebook.com/outofthebasement-into-the-streets, or you can try and message me through the YouTube message system. I don't always see the YouTube messages. Their messaging system's weird. So those 2 avenues are probably the best way to get in touch with me. Or you can give those addresses to the person and they can just contact me directly. So thanks again for watching. We'll see more widgets and wonders showing you new cool stuff in the wargaming world. Until then, I'm Ash. Happy wargaming.